Hey guys, what's going on? So today we're back with another Chief Almighty video. It's been a while since the last one. So if you're a Chief Almighty fan, I apologize, but we're back. So here we go. We've recently just wrapped up essentially the Era of Conquest event. So this will be the first part of several for the Era of Conquest, basically explaining everything around it, giving tips and more. So if you're not familiar, Era of Conquest is an event that comes around pretty infrequently. Apparently, there was a different set of rules a while ago. This is my first ever Era of Conquest. There were a different set of rules a while ago. Players gave a lot of feedback. The devs looked into all that feedback, changed a lot of things, and then recently just released this for the brand new states, including mine, or the brand new continents, including mine. So there are a fair amount of rule changes from the previous Era of Conquests, if you have played those. If you have not played Era of Conquest, it's very different than your normal activities in Chief Almighty. So in Era of Conquest, basically you're paired up with 8 different continents. For us, it was just a sequential order of continents just by number. So we had 199, continent 199, all the way up through continent 206. So, 199, 200, 201, 202, blah, 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 all the way up to 206. So there's 8 full continents, and every clan, every guild, whatever, from those states all basically get paired up into these little sectors. You play on a completely different map. You can enter and exit as you desire to go back to your actual home continent. If you click exit, in order to re-enter, you're going to need an item. It's called a blood tribute, but you can get it very, very easily. You can get it in the clan shop and things like that. So it's actually not. It's not really something that you need to worry about right here, this blood tribute. So it's not really like a big concern if you exit and enter, but you don't really need to. I actually don't think I exited more than a handful of times in the whole event. The event lasts for 30 days, so this is one of the new rules of the event. It previously was 60 days, and a lot of players said that's way too long. Now it's 30 days. So in that 30 days, I only left and entered, a handful of times. So this first video is basically going to be kind of what to do when you first jump into Era of Conquest. I'm not really going to explain everything. Obviously, there are going to be subsequent videos, and as such, we're not going to cover everything in here. But when you first start, you actually get the ability to choose your sector, and this is based on kind of a clan ranking that happens before. So there's an event that happens before the Era of Conquest actually starts, and the top ranked continents gets to pick their areas, their starting areas first. This isn't really a big deal unless you are strategically working with other continents. So if you ally with other continents, maybe one can go in the top left corner and one can go in the bottom right corner, and you can spread out through both sides. But other than that, it's not really a big deal. Everyone sort of gets the same advantages or disadvantages. So in any case, here are the starting zones. Like I said, there are 8 basically just around the map. We happen to choose this bottom middle one, but it's not really that big of a deal. There's some different buildings in the middle, but again, it's not really a major concern. So in the very beginning, you can only place your sort of stronghold. That's your clan's stronghold. It's the same thing that you actually use in your normal state. You can only place it in this green area, and you can place it anywhere in here. Generally, what I recommend, as you can see, I'm in Clan 1 here on continent 200. We placed our stronghold right next to one of these bridges, and I'll get to the bridges in a little bit. But as you can see, our clan stronghold is directly next to the bridge. Now, you don't necessarily need to do it like this. Again, this was all of our first times, actually. I personally recommend, if you're not working with your continent, there are only 2 bridges out. So if your continent has internal issues, internal feuds, there will be some problems in the beginning. So what I generally recommend is you establish some sort of, full truce or full nap, non-aggression pact, so you don't attack each other, and somehow make it so that your continent sort of works together. You don't really have to work super together, but I do actually recommend you do, and I'll get into that in some more of the advanced videos later. So you can place your clan stronghold anywhere. I don't really recommend placing it like way off in the deep. Probably what I would do, and it doesn't matter too much as long as you're somewhere in this middle line here. There's the big kind of pillar of yore in the middle. That's going to be one of your most important assets in the very beginning, the first week, or it's about 10 days, as well as these marching camps on the sides. So generally what I recommend is you position yourself somewhere on this middle line between your pillar of yore and a bridge. It can be on either side, it doesn't particularly matter, and between marching camps. This is going to basically make it the shortest distance that you have to travel for all of those objectives. If you're a much smaller clan, and you're probably only going to get allocated one, then you can obviously just put your thing like right next to it, and you don't have to travel very far. So speaking of travel, the only way that you can move in this map is these blue squares, as you can see all throughout here. These blue squares are actually something that your clan has to build, and they come in these banner towers. So you place down these banner towers, and then you can teleport in that area. As you can see, if I move outside of that area, I cannot teleport to that area. Similarly, you cannot attack these buildings unless you have one of these banners next to it. So you have to build these banners to the objectives in order to capture the objectives or teleport. And in order to build the banners, you're going to need to do a few different things. So there are clan buildings in your sort of clan settings here. The clan stronghold, the dragon cave, and blah, 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 the primal arena, just like in your normal continent. But also there are these banner towers, and there's a clan banner center. So first you have to build your clan stronghold, and in order to do that, you need materials, right? These are clan resources here. There are multiple different ways to get this, but in the very beginning, you basically are going to have all of your members collect these materials immediately. As you can see, there's, everything normal, and then there's this blue turquoise quartz. There's a different resource here for everything, so you have to collect the gold, the meat, the wood, the turquoise quartz, the stone, etc., in order to get enough materials to then build your buildings. So then you build your clan banner center. This basically allows you to build your banner towers. The higher level your clan banner center is, the more towers you have allocated. In the beginning, you maybe only have like 20 or 50 or something, and as you level it up, you get more and more. And then you have to build the towers. Now the towers also cost those resources, the clan resources. So it's very important that immediately when you get into this map, that everybody in your clan starts gathering. And that's why it's very important to have active members in your clan only. The bigger your clan is, like the more members you have, the more active members is incredibly important, and it'll allow you to build everything faster and progress faster than everyone around you, which does have a snowball effect in Era of Conquest, or EOC. Because you then move to these neutral buildings, you can capture them or occupy them, and then you gain these buffs. So increase collection speed by 25%, for example. That's just going to allow you to get more and more resources, build more and more banners, and continue kind of that snowball effect. Outside of collecting, there's another avenue to getting those clan resources, and there are these natural spawning sort of resources plots on the map. So as you can see here, this is a clan quarry. I guess it's just a stone quarry that exists on the map that randomly is generated. If your banner tower area, so this kind of blue circle, or sorry, that's not a circle, that's a square. This blue square, if it's within that blue square, you are going to be getting those bonuses. So here we can see I'm getting 252 turquoise quartz every single hour for the clan resources. And here for the stone, 2,160 per every hour. All of them stack up. your clan stronghold included. So positioning your clan stronghold, 1 or 2 blocks in order to get like this, for example, making sure that it's positioned so you are getting this maybe on the borders. It doesn't really matter as long as it's somewhere in that square. You are going to be getting those resources. That's immediately the most important aspect of Era of Conquest is resources. So make sure every single one of your members is collecting at all times throughout the day. If they can't play throughout the day, then you just set yourself up, like you have to go to work or sleep or whatever. Just make sure you're collecting before you go, to sleep or to work or whatever. It takes like 5 seconds to just go and start collecting. And then, 5 hours later, you'll come back and you'll have a bunch of resources for the clan. Very, very important. And this is an aspect that is not pay to win or whatever. I guess technically you can get buffs for gathering, but that's besides the point. There are some other really easy ways to influence your gathering speed. So in your chief skills, for example, if you go under the growth section, this has some collecting benefits. So for example, increased food collection or stone or whatever. 40% is huge. There's also a buff here where you increase your resource collection speed by 100% for 2 hours. So there are definitely ways to get better collecting speed than other players if you're a bigger base, for example. There's also these conquest talents that I'm, again, not really going to dive into. These don't really give gathering, at least not for the early game. Only once you're a pretty significant level do you actually get these, so that's not really a concern in the beginning. But in any case, there are some tips and tricks. There are also some heroes that you can use to increase your collecting, such as Farouk, Nitus, whatever. So Farouk increases your food collecting speed. Nitus increases your collecting speed, wherever she is. She's a purple hero. And then Tawas as well. I don't know where any of these heroes are anymore. Tawas, he increases your collecting speed if he's in that squad. Nitus is somewhere up here, right here. She also increases your collecting speed, and so on. So there are some ways to kind of increase the amount of the speed that you're collecting at. And the speed's very important because you're going to get more resources faster, and then, like I said, it'll lead to that snowball effect. So that's kind of the very, very beginning, right? That's sort of the day one activity. Make sure your clan places a stronghold in a strategic position. 1, proximity to neutral buildings, including these bridges, very, very important. And these marching camps and the Pillar of Yore, very, very important. But also keep in mind those naturally spawning resource objectives. If your clan stronghold is around like 10 of them, you're going to be off to a really, really good start. 2, make sure your clan is full of members, full of active members. So as you can see here, we only have 82 out of 90. But we actually only had 80 before. Anyway, make sure it's full of active members. If it's not, then this is why I said it's kind of important you work with your continent. What we actually did on continent 200 is we sort of merged together the different groups, the active players from the different clans. So players from 200 clan moved into one clan, players from the Law clan moved into one clan. We didn't actually finalize that until maybe several weeks in, and had we done that initially, we would have been able to get off to a much better start. So plan that, prepare that before, if you can. You'll be off to a really, really good start. Not too many continents actually did that. There might only be 202. I think might be like the only continent that I saw successfully even do that. Maybe some others did, but I just didn't notice it. But in any case, very, very important that you have very active members. They're collecting at all hours of the day. If you need, give other players, your base's logins so they can log in while you're sleeping and start collecting and vice versa. We use that strategy a lot. And yeah, so that's kind of the day one, the first week, the first 10 days. It's all about collecting. It's all about building your banners. Once you have your stronghold and you're kind of all collecting and all that stuff, and you have your banner center, start building your banner towers to these neutral camps. They don't open immediately. Actually, the marching camps might, but it doesn't really make any difference. Start building these immediately. Work your way towards them, capture them. You'll get bonuses like before increases collection speed 25%. It's a huge bonus. It just adds to that snowball. Build to the Pillar of Yore. Take it when you can. And then after about maybe 2 weeks or 10 days or something, these bridges open, and that's where things get a lot more exciting. We're not going to talk about that though. The last thing I want to talk about in this video, this is sort of the intro. There will be more, talking about more of the advanced stuff. The last thing that I want to cover in this video here is during the actual event, there is another event called Battle of Blood or something like that. Yep, Battle of Blood, as you can see. There are time-limited events here, and a different event is initiated every 24 hours. So every day there's a different event. It's almost exactly like King of the Continent, the King of the Continent event. So it's collecting, killing wildlings, basically, or Viper fortresses will get you points. So day one is right here, time of collection. That's basically just whoever collects the most resources gets the most points. Pursuit is killing the wildlings. In this game, they're called worms. They actually only spawn as worms in the Era of Conquest map. So killing all the worms or Viper fortresses will get you points. The second one is troops. The third one is troops priming. It's just whoever trains the most troops gets the most points. The fourth one is expansion, so that's just power increase. So increasing building, increasing invocation, elder lore, etc. And then the fifth one is blood. Blood is basically just a kill event. Now, you can kill your own continent if you need, but again, I really don't recommend that. I recommend working with your continent. So for the most part, what you're going to want to do is be killing the other continents. You can trade with, within your continent. That's totally fine. We did that in like the first times, for example. You can trade with the other continents if you want, or you just go and kill them. You can place shields and things like that, but that's besides the point. Then there's a ranking of all the players who get those points. So let's say you're on your collecting day and you collected 5 million resources. You might be rank 10. You're going to get these points here, these prestige points. So right now I only have 951, but that's because I spent a crap ton of prestige points. You get these prestige points by basically doing those events, as well as some of the neutral buildings and some kills. When you do the events, you get these points, and the higher your ranking is, the more points you're going to get at the end of the day. So it's very, very important that you take advantage of that system, this kind of time-limited event system, and really maximize what you're doing on those days, right? So save all your training until priming day, save all your lore and your invocations till expansion, etc. Overall, there is a Conquest Prestige. That's sort of the points system. There's a Conquest Prestige rank, individual ranking here. So you can see the number one player had 583,725. And it obviously goes down. The 50th player only had 87,000 prestige. So, it's a fairly big difference. So there's an individual ranking, and there's pretty significant rewards for the individual ranking. You get Conquest Tribe Center fragments. If you're within the top 10, these you can basically use to get skins. So the first player gets an immediate skin. There's also these collection displays. So this mammoth skull, which you can put on your character, increase troop attack by 10% and troop defense by 10%. Again, the top 50 players are going to get this skull for varying amounts of time. The top 3 get it permanently. 4 through 10 get it for 60 days, I believe. 11 through 20 get it for 30, and probably 21 through 50 get it for 15. So you get that for your individual rewards. So it's very important that you're considering that. Troop 10% attack and 10% defense off of basically a free display item is huge. Then there's your clan overall rank. This is going to be every single member in the clan's conquest points added up, just totaled up. So the rank 1 has 8 million. And then if we go down again to the top 50 has 5,417. And again, you will be getting certain things for your rank. And then finally, there's the continent Conquest Prestige rank. So again, the first continent had 10,500,000, and then the continent in last place had 920, and you will get rewards for this. But it basically goes down. Individual is the most important, or you get the best rewards. Then clan, you get the second best rewards, and then continent, it doesn't matter too much. You don't really get great rewards, but it's sort of just a factor of who won the map. So that's all I'm covering for today. There is a ton more. We will cover it all. This is a long video. This is the intro, so I wanted to cover the most. The subsequent videos will be a little bit shorter and more kind of concise on specific topics, but hopefully this gives you guys a little bit of a good intro to Era of Conquest. There is a ton in this event, and the more you know before you go into it, the better. Even if you have played it before, the rules have changed fairly significantly. We had at least 2 players in our clan who had played the previous iteration of Era of Conquest, and then played this iteration. We basically just finished this, and there are pretty significant differences. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Stay tuned for the next ones. You can just pick and choose whichever ones you want. It doesn't really matter. Watch them all. Go ahead if you want. But if you have any questions on Era of Conquest, you can leave them on this video. And if I see a bunch all around a particular subject, I will try to release that video first. So it's just a good way to let me know what you guys, what questions you guys have on Era of Conquest. All right, guys, that's about it. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I know, like I said, it's been a while since I've done a Chief Almighty video, so thanks for sticking with me. You'll see me soon. All right, take care. Peace.
Wake up, early mornings, late nights, hopping on a different flight. What's the meaning of life, ayy? Wake up, same-ish, different day. Make a wish, call it pray. Am I sick, am I okay, ayy? Stay up